You ready?
Go ahead, Chris.
Coach, high energy spring game today. What were some of the things that stood out to you?
Just the guys had fun. I really think our guys were looking forward to tonight, to have the opportunity to finish out the spring season, competing against each other under the lights out here, having a crowd, and it was a lot of fun. The guys competed well. We saw some guys make some plays tonight that probably as good of football as they played all spring, which was really encouraging.
Start off, Brett Garcia got that interception early and ran it for a touchdown. What did you think about his play and some of the defense?
Jarina's been a real bright spot for us, just the way he's developed. We saw all fall on the scout team. Just really felt like he was going to be a good physical football player. He plays the game really fast. It's hard as a young guy to process everything. It's a lot to go out there and play inside linebacker in a college football game. But it's a great play he made on that pick six, and excited to see him not only make that play, but he made some plays on special teams and had some good tackles, had a good blitz, put pressure on the quarterback one time, and so it was a nice night for him.
Trey Sophia, Adam Cash, I saw making some plays out there. Tell us about some of the other defense players.
So Trey Sophia, again, another freshman, really long guy, and he's one of several defensive linemen in that class I'm excited about. Kyle Lewis, Andre Miller, David Crossan. There's a bunch of freshman defensive linemen that I think are going to be really good players. I'm excited about those guys. Adam Cash is a guy that is one of the safeties and kind of in the mix over there with several other freshmen as well. And like I said, he's one of many guys that over the course of the spring have improved and played better. And Adam Cash is one that I think early on we just didn't see him showing up a bunch. And about halfway through spring ball, kind of the light came on and he started playing better. So good to see some of those guys showing up.
Miles Stewart had a 33-yard run today. Looked good on that pitch play. He certainly got his opportunity.
He did. So he's a freshman as well, and coming along. He's kind of down in the depth right now, but there's some veteran players at the slot back position with Tyrell Robinson and Ijan Marshall and Cole Catterbone, who moved over there, Maurice Ballon. But he's a good, tough football player. Played at our prep school. We saw some things out of him as a prep school player that were really encouraging, and he's kind of continued that this year. So he's a guy we're going to bring along. I don't know if he's completely in the mix with those guys at the top yet, but he's not far off.
And quarterbacks, Cade Ballard played quite a bit, had the touchdown run in the second half, and Bryson Daly, Elon Mitchell had a touchdown pass today. Jamel Jones was out there, a little bit of Tyre. What do you think the quarterbacks today?
Really nice throw right there by Elon Mitchell for the touchdown down here in the end zone to Isaiah. That was a really good throw. I was really pleased with Cade Ballard. I'm just so happy with the way he's improved and developed as a leader and as a player. He threw the ball really well tonight. Had a really nice run for a touchdown down the sideline. Showed some wheels. He's an accomplished quarterback. It's a guy that's never lost a game as a starting quarterback, including 2 games here. So a lot of confidence in him. Tyre, he gets himself out of jams. Now, being in a red jersey, it's a little tough, but he got out of a really good jam there when he scrambled and kind of knifed between a couple of guys. He's looked really good this spring. We've limited him, but he's looked really good. And Jamel has gotten more and more consistent. So it's a good group, particularly those 3 seniors at the top.
Isaiah Alston, a couple of nice catches. One he had to go way up in the air for, and then the touchdown down in this end zone right on the end line. What do you think about how his play has developed?
He did a really good job keeping his foot in on the touchdown, but his best catch was that one over here on that hitch route that he went up to get. He's a skilled, gifted player. And we're very fortunate and very happy to have him on our football team. And so if he can continue to make plays like that, he's going to help us have a chance to win some games.
Shakari Williams ran quite a bit, as well as Ajon Marshall had a 20-yard play. You've got some depth at running back.
There's some guys. So Shakari's a guy that's had to take a lot of reps this spring. We limited Buchanan and we limited Riley, and frankly, there's a lot of other guys at the B-back position that have been hurt. A.J. Williams, Jarrell Dixon, Lucky Brooks. The 3 of those guys 2 of those guys couldn't go at all this spring, and one of them was very limited. So Shakori's got a lot of reps. We moved Arkell Johnson there in the spring. He's probably had as good a spring as anybody, the improvement from day one to the end. So Shakori runs the ball really hard, really physical player. He does a good job in pass protections, and so glad to see him get the ball and have a chance to run it some tonight.
Very good. Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you.
Ken McMillan.
Yep. Ken McMillan, go ahead.
Hey, Jeff, congratulations on the good night here. This is the most excitement I've heard in your voice all spring.
Oh, I'm just trying to have some fun out here, Ken.
But, I mean, it sounds like you leave on a positive note here.
Well, look, Army won tonight, so I'm going to go in and watch the film, and if we talked in about 3 hours, I'd probably sound like the world was coming to an end. So that's just the reality of it when you watch the film. But our guys had fun. They wanted to come out and compete, and I was happy to see them be able to get a reward at the end of spring for the 14 practices they put in. You know, I've stuck my shoe in their butt for 14 straight days, so tonight, you know, they were able to go out there and have some fun, and we had a bunch of people here to watch the game, which was great. And so I'm going to enjoy it for the 3 hours I got until I watch the rest of this film and am all pissed off again.
Sure. Well, before you get into that, this whole camp, does it leave you with a better feeling, more optimism for the start of August practice?
No, not really. You know, I've watched, and I wish we had 15 more practices. Unfortunately, we can't practice again until August, so I know what kind of work we're in for when we get back to preseason camp.
Is this typical, though, for the end of spring camp? You know, where you should be at?
I don't know. I don't know where we should be. I never remember. You know, I only remember this year, and it's not where we want to be yet. And like I said, I wish we had 15 more practices, but we don't. So I know we got a lot of improvements to make. We're better than we were when we started on March 24th, but not as good as we want to be or need to be.
Sure. To sum up, would you say did you see what you want from the freshmen and the sophomores?
I think there were a lot of freshmen and sophomores that improved tremendously over the course of the spring, and I think it gives us more confidence in a good number of those guys that they're going to be able to help us, that they're going to add to the depth and be able to contribute in the fall. So from that standpoint, yes, I think there's some guys that we learned a lot more about and feel comfortable with.
All right, last thing then. Do you feel as though, I mean, what's your emotion after tonight, Jeff? I know you're excited tonight, but the spring camp is over. So are you kind of sad in a way, or are you kind of eager to get to that next step?
I'm just, like I said, I'm just eagerly anticipating the opportunity to go out there and practice again and to start to get ready for the first football game. I wish we could practice all summer long. Ken, I'm never one to anoint a football team in the middle of April and say we're going to be a really good football team. I always am very cautious about the optimism, because I know how hard it is to win a football game, and I know how talented the teams are going to be that we play. The opening game to start off with, I mean, that's a team that's lost 3 games in 2 seasons, and with the talk of college football the last couple of years, it's going to be a tough football game, and if we're going to give ourselves a chance, we're going to have to be a lot better than we were tonight or all this spring. And I don't expect us to be game ready tonight, but I just know where we need to get, and so I guess it's the anxiety of not being there and realizing that we're going to have to put the work in August to get ourselves there.
All right, Jeff, enjoy the next couple hours.
Thanks a lot. Be Navy.
All right, Sal, got any questions?
Yeah, Coach, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I just had a question on Brett's arena, and if his effort tonight kind of helps his confidence and maybe his cause toward the fall practice. I know there's a lot of time in between, but maybe it is a good boost for him.
Brett's a talented guy. I'm not saying it's oozing from his pores. I don't know if we got guys like that, but he's got a lot of ability for us, and it's a matter of just processing the things that are going on when a play starts. It's a challenge, and it's not just a challenge for him, it's a challenge for college football players in general. And it's going to be his ability to be able to handle that and process what's going on and react in order for him to be an effective player for us. And if the game can slow down for him, if he can just be better about processing at the linebacker position, then he's going to be a really, really good player.
One more. Just at the beginning of spring, you talked about Tyre, because of his experience, was going to be tough to beat out to start. Cade's had a good spring. This Cade's spring move him closer, or maybe is it too early to think about maybe the multiple quarterback situation coming into the season?
Well, I think we've shown that we're very comfortable using multiple quarterbacks, and that very well may be the case in the fall. We'll see. We're gonna play the guy or the guys that give us the best chance to win. I think Tyre's a really good player. I've seen him this spring throwing the ball just better than he ever has here, and which is really encouraging. I mean, it's great to see a guy like that who's been around here as long as he has improve and continue to get better. But Cade Ballard's improved as well. He's improved as a runner. He's improved as an overall quarterback in our offense. So those guys continue to get better, and those are both guys that have started games and won games as starters. They're both accomplished quarterbacks. So, I mean, I don't know that Cade was ever that far off. He's still not that far off, but I still think it's hard to beat out Tyre Tyler just because he's been under center and he's played a lot of football for us. But I assure you that nothing will rattle Cade Ballard. He's been in big games. He's a leader. He's just a really confident, good football player. And he's smart. He takes care of the ball. You can see that tonight. And he's a good quarterback. So there's a place for both of those guys, and I'm certain that's going to play itself out in the fall.
I appreciate it, Coach. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Sal.
All right, thanks everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Ken.
Have a good